All right. So, who's struggled with healthy weight loss long term?
Is struggling.
Long term. There's a lot of great I wouldn't say great programs, but there are people that have had success with weight loss short term, but not long term. And that's really what we're all after, wouldn't you agree? You know, we used to joke years ago, I don't know if it was a joke, but we were young and crazy and said, look, if you want to lose 50 pounds, just cut your leg off. You're going to be 50 pounds lighter.
I agree.
So, who's ready to slay that weight loss dragon? Once and for all. Okay, we're going to do that tonight. I really believe that. I know that. And if you take this information and start to apply it, I know that you will have results long term. Have patience. It's not going to happen overnight. Keto versus paleo. So when you guys saw that slide, what did you think about that? Because a lot of you registered really quick. What came to you? Chris is going to talk about keto, paleo. What were you thinking when you saw that slide?
I want to know the difference.
Want to know the difference? Confusing, yeah. Yeah, it was neat because I think within 3 or 4 days we had 25 people register, and that usually doesn't happen until about 2 days before the event. So this caught your attention, and that's good. So does anyone know the origin of the paleo diet? You know, we hear so many things about these diets, and most of us don't even know how they started or what they are really about or why they started. Does anyone know anything about paleo?
Isn't it the original hunter-gatherer?
Yeah.
So it's pretty old.
It's old.
Yeah,
You're right on.
terminology
Yeah.
might be different. but-
No, you're right. See, it's about 2.6 million years old. It's been around in the Paleolithic days. It's been around a long time. And it's basically the hunter-gatherer concept where you were hunting your food or your food was hunting you. Either way, you were running. So you would eat, you had to have a lot of high fat because you might not eat again for 2 weeks.
Hello.
But no, that's it. I mean, that's really where the Paleolithic diet came from. And it's, you hear paleo diet, caveman diet, Stone Age diet. It's basically all the same thing. But here's the thing. If they look at the research from many, many years ago, our digestive systems were a lot different back then than they are today. So a lot of times we reference this old school stuff thinking that today is the same as it was then. It's not. Because things were a lot purer back then and clean, right? And a lot of people really do mistaken our digestive system that it basically, they don't think it's unchanged at all, and it has changed. It has changed significantly, since the 1900s and everything became industrialized, food changed big time.
So I can blame them for getting like this, huh?
Yeah, got to blame somebody.
That's right.
So, today, what people know the paleo diet as is vegetables, fruits, nuts, meat, and it excludes dairy, grain, sugar, legumes, processed oil, salt, alcohol, and coffee. So that's the essence of the paleo diet. That's really, so to keep it real simple, because I like to keep things simple. If things get complicated, you're not going to do it. And it's not, you can read all this kind of stuff, but this is really what the paleo diet is here. And that's what it looks like. Sometimes it's good to have a visual. These are the foods that are part of the paleo diet. And these foods are not part of the paleo diet. It really aren't part of any diet, especially up here. It shouldn't be. Well, it could be part of your diet. I know it was mine when I was really, really young. I was eating like I shouldn't have been eating. So the keto diet, I would say that today, would you guys agree that that is probably the biggest name out there right now in diets is keto. Would you agree? Everybody's talking about keto. Most people don't even know why they're doing keto or what keto's all about, because I can tell you it's not that far off from paleo. It's the buzzword now, and the marketing people are just having a heyday with it. They're selling keto water now, keto hair shampoo, keto everything. So this is what a keto foods and drinks look like. It's a little different, where they say you can have dairy, you know. And so when you see the zeros and everything here, they're real focused on carbs, keeping carbs very low. Yeah, you can feel free to take pictures and all that. And then, you know, so that's why you see the 0, 1 to 5. So the idea is if you're eating all these things, you're right in the middle of a keto style diet, low carbs. Not easy to do, going low carbs. It's easy to talk about, but that's why the idea is if you keep your healthy fats up high enough, you won't get hungry. Carbs are very satisfying and they taste good. And we overcarb ourselves. And a lot of times there's hidden carbs that you have no idea what you're eating. And if you follow the keto diet like they suggest, it's usually anywhere between 35 and 80 grams of carbohydrates. And I can tell you, you can use those up real quick. Really, really quick. So there's where the confusion comes in. And you can eat a lot of good food too and still not get to your weight loss goal. For some people, high healthy fats are good. For some people, it doesn't work. So that's the craziness of this. Oh, everybody do keto. Well, it doesn't work for everybody. It really doesn't. I've seen people that have great success on it. I've seen people gain weight on keto and they're pulling their hair out. They're eating good. I know they're eating good, and they're struggling with it. There's a lot of other things that we got to look at. So who knows the origin of the keto diet, since it's so crazed today?
It's the first diet that they found that epileptic children or people were not, it actually stopped their seizures.
Absolutely. That's where keto came from. They had amazing success working with kids with epilepsy. It literally reversed the epilepsy from a neurological standpoint. And what they found in there is like, it was keeping the carbohydrates low. So if it can affect somebody that's in a really tough autoimmune issue, some neurological issue, that's where the keto thing became popular, because it was a low carb diet. And then they thought, oh wow, well, if we do that, maybe people could start losing weight. And then the marketing guys got their hands all over it. Here's what's interesting. Back in the 80s, when I was in my bodybuilding days, we just weren't smart enough to market keto, because we were doing keto back then to get down to 3 to 4% body fat. We were putting our body into ketosis by doing low carb diets. We figured that out. We were using keto sticks to measure our urine to find out if we went too far, and if we did, then we'd have to up our carbs a little bit. I mean, we were doing keto before it got popular. So when all this stuff comes out, I just go, oh boy, another diet again that most people just aren't having success with. So here's the whole idea of keto, is that it forces the body to burn fat rather than carbohydrates, okay? So the idea is to use our existing body fat as fuel. So the theory is that if we use our existing body fat as fuel, that's how we're able to use that as energy, hence burn more body fat, right? And so it converts into glucose, and that's what's transported around the body, particularly important for fueling the brain. So in epilepsy, they found, wow, the brain functions were really good when we lowered carbohydrates, increased the glucose, and used that as fuel. All of a sudden, the brain starts functioning better too. So that's why a lot of doctors recommend keto too. It's not just for fat loss. There's a lot of other medical benefits from keto too. It's just that most people struggle with the keto. How many have had long-term success with keto diet? Yeah. Kathy, you've done a good job. You've had some great success.
We haven't been on it for like 6 months.
Yeah, but you're on a good path. And when I say long-term, 5 years plus, because you wouldn't be surprised. I get probably 2 calls a week. People say, Chris, you should look at this product, this program. People are having amazing success in weight loss. I said, give me the studies after you follow them for 5 to 10 years, and I'll look at your program. Because nobody can show you that data. It's pretty tough. So the aim of the diet is to put our body into ketosis. Have you guys heard of ketosis? That's what the keto, why it's so popular. The idea is if we get into ketosis, we're burning body fat. Right? It's that simple. It doesn't have to get more complicated than that. And again, we want to use the carbohydrates for energy, restrict the amount of carbs. The body will break those down into stored fat, creating molecules called ketones. So that's the whole goal, is to get ketones in our body to help stimulate that process. Is everybody following that okay? All right? But here's the challenge. Some of you might go, yeah, that's me. So many people are chasing ketosis and obsessing and stressing on everything they eat. And guess what happens when you start stressing? Stress hormones goes up, cortisol goes up, blood sugar goes crazy, and you go, Chris, I'm doing everything perfect and I'm not losing any weight. And you want to eat more. Because when we're stressed, it's something about food that just calms us down.
Hello.
It does, if we're being honest. Okay, here's the truth here. Most, which is around 95% of the people who are attempting to go on a strict ketogenic diet, are struggling to get in, stay in, and sustain ketosis. That's what science hasn't completely figured out yet by doing a keto diet. The idea is, okay, it sounds good, but how many people are actually getting into ketosis? So you got to get there first, then you got to stay, and then you got to sustain. It's not that easy. It's very, very complicated, and most people, because we're in a microwave society, it doesn't happen fast enough. We just don't give it enough time. We just don't give anything enough time. We want everything boom, 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 boom. But there are other solutions to getting in and sustaining ketosis, but I'm going to tease you with that, and we're not going to talk about that towards the end. Keep you thinking. So today we talked about keto and paleo. This is just another small portion of diets that are out there. Anybody do any of these?
Good Atkins.
Oh yeah, I was the Atkins diet. I mean, this was just the best picture I could find on the internet that had some of them on there, but I don't know. There's hundreds and hundreds of diets that have come and gone. I mean, anybody do more than 5 diets in their lifetime? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? So let me just give you some, I call them fun facts, because this is an eye-opener. 45 million Americans go on a diet every year. 45 million. There's what, 300 million people in America?
How many stay on?
We're going to get to that. Good question.
By the end of January.
So let's go back to 1992, because it's hard to find a lot of data. How much do you think people spent on weight loss products in 1992?
Are we looking monthly or yearly?
Total, aggregate, like all of us chipping in, how much money do you think the American people spent on weight loss products?
Probably 10,000.
10,000? This each person. No, I'm talking about aggregate, everybody.
Oh,
All
the
these
whole
45 million people.
Oh, them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Millions, billions, 30 billion.
Wow.
1992. It's a little ways ago. How much you think they spent in 2017? 66 billion. And they're still looking for that next weight loss product. You think they're going to get it?
No.
It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. So stop going on the internet looking for weight loss products, unless you just want to keep contributing to these numbers that are doing nothing for you but making these people rich. What percentage of dieters will regain their lost weight?
90%.
You guys, we got a sharp crowd here tonight. Look at that, 97%. Years ago, when I was in the health club business, we studied a lot of the weight loss centers. We took, is anyone here from Jenny Craig? I hope not, but it's truth. We studied the Jenny Craig weight loss model. 70% of their revenue came from repeat business.
Wow.
Which means they had success losing 10 pounds, then they gained 20. They went back.
Hello.
Definition of insanity. So what percentage, we started the presentation early on about long term. So what percentage of dieters keep the weight off long term? What do you think?
3%.
You guys steal my slides? 5%. So, do diets work? All right, so you guys are going to give me your word. You're never going to go on a diet again. Okay?
Change our,
So this is a fun question. How many want to lose weight? Everybody. Well, let's ask it in a different way. Or do you just want to weigh less?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Think about that question,
That's
though.
a good question.
It's a really good question. It's a difference of going on a weight loss program or weighing less for all the other reasons of good health, longevity, and don't get caught up on a number,
Right.
right? Your healthy body weight is what you decide that should be for you. Get off of what the statistics say, and a lot of times even what doctors say, oh, you should weigh this. Okay, who knows what you should weigh other than you? If you feel good, you're okay in your clothes, and you feel good about yourself, your self-esteem's high, and you're looking at blood work, and there's nothing that's standing out that you really do need to look at as far as the weight thing, then that's good for you. So really that's what it is. We just want to weigh less. It's not about losing weight, right? It's really the key. Because it's never about weight loss. That's why no one has success, because they're making it about weight loss. We got to stop thinking about weight loss. Because it doesn't work. I just showed you the statistics. It's really about finding an eating plan that works for you, that you can be comfortable with for the rest of your life. Not perfection, but if you can make better choices 7 out of 10 times long term, you're going to be way ahead of the ball game.
mine is eat all you see.
In our younger years, all we were looking for was buffets. Those were some fun days, though. You know, when you're in your 20s, you can do everything wrong and still look good. And after you get after that 40, boy, it gets a little rougher and rougher. So I want to share with you guys some fundamentals that I know that if you do, you can achieve and maintain whatever your healthy body weight is for life. And I'm putting these up there because this is my 40 years of research. If I look at all the clients that I've worked with over the years, and I connect all the dots, and I see who has had the most success long term that I still keep in touch with over the years, thank goodness for Facebook now, you can find people that you used to work with 20 years ago and say, oh, wow. These are foundational. And most people don't do any of these when they start to think about going on a weight loss program or getting to your healthy weight. They just don't follow those. This is a big one. You really have to define the why. Why do you even want to do it? Do you even know why? And what is it going to do for you? If you can't get past that, weight loss or getting to your healthy weight is going to be a struggle for you for the rest of your life. I know that. You know, you have to get that internal motivation by getting to the why and the what. And what would be some of the whys for some people in here? Why would you want to get to whatever healthy body weight that is for you? What would be a why?
Health reasons.
Health reasons?
To live a long life and be able to function when I'm older.
Yeah, because,
Health-
you know,
yeah,
longevity
yes.
is good if it's healthy longevity.
Yes.
If you don't have quality of life,
Right.
life's kind of rough. And it's a burden on a lot of people and yourself, and it's just a struggle. It's not a good place to be. You know, sometimes we end up there and we got to work through it. You know, you can do everything right and things can still happen, don't get me wrong, but the internal motivation will come from knowing why and what. What are you going to get out of it? There's a lot of grandparents in here I know, and in some of my conversations I know they're passionate about their grandkids. You know, that they kind of know why and what they're going to get out of it by doing that. They want to be able to hang out and roll around on the ground with the grandkids, right? Here's another really big one. There's a lot of core values out there. a lot of core values. You really should define what your top 5 core values are that are unwavering, that will not ever change. Because some will change. And I'm going to just give you a little hint. I have clients go through a core value exercise. They come here for health. 90% of the time, when they identify their top 5 core values, health is not on that list. And it's not, so it's an opportunity for me now to coach and say, is health really important to you? You know, and that's why it's good to ask good questions to help people, you know, to find out, let's get to peel that onion back so that you can have some success. But health should be on the top, I hope it's in your top 5.
Oh, good, I got the right answer.
From 6 on, I don't care. I just want to know your 5. Health better be on there, or I can't help you. And then establish realistic goals. And I like to call it fat loss goals. Because that's really what we want to lose. We want to weigh less, but we want to get rid of body fat. We don't want to lose muscle and just water. So when you hear these people going, oh my God, in 10 days I lost 10 pounds and 20 pounds. Great. You're going to gain it all back. Because it wasn't body fat. It was everything but fat. So it sounds good. That's why, again, is it all about weight loss or just weighing less? This is a really big one. Setting healthy boundaries. Like in everything in life, we have to set healthy boundaries, don't we? And sometimes it makes other people uncomfortable. You know, Sophie's going to laugh at this, but my family that lives out of town, you know, when they're going to come here for Mother's Day. So they tell my mom, why do we always have to go out and eat where Chris wants to eat? Well, we set healthy boundaries, and we'll find a place that has other food too. And you know, I'm having a little laughter about that with family because we all have family stuff. But set yourself up for success. You know, really do that because you're giving them a gift too. You don't want to judge them or say don't eat that. You know, and then like when we go out to eat, people are always looking. I go, don't worry about what I'm eating. I might have some French fries tonight. You know, but find places that will help you stay on your course. It's really, really important. And then, of course, physical, emotional, and environmental detox. Detox is a big one. So for some of you that are here using the pocket, you're getting some environmental toxins and cellular toxins out. But we got to look at the physical and emotional stuff too. It's big. You know, the emotional stuff drives stress that drives eating. So it's something that, you know, we all have to work towards. And then this is another big one. Not all the stress in your life, just the top 3.
Oh, boy.
We all have them. We all have them.
That's for sure.
And the reason why is that you've got to learn how to deal with those, because the more stressed you are, the higher your cortisol levels go up, your blood sugar, and then all the things that you're doing right, you're getting frustrated because you're not having success. So these are things that are paramount that nobody looks at. And nobody's going to tell you to do that. Just take this weight loss pill. You know, keep stressing yourself out. Everything's going to be fine. Sleep's important.
Very
Okay?
important.
Very, very important. Strength training. All you doing ARX in here. All right. Most of you, half of you at least, I know. It's important. Why? Strength training builds muscle. The more muscle you have, the more body fat your body will burn. And as we age, starting at age 30, we start losing bone density and we start losing muscle mass at age 30, whether you like it or not. The only way you get rid of that and get on the other side of it is strength training, not exercise. Exercise is good, but strength training is really, really paramount. And then having somebody coach you and have an accountability partner. And usually friends and family don't work. They're too nice. You know? A lot of couples I coach, I say, if you want your marriage to last, don't be telling your husband and wife what to do. It just doesn't work. in any of our households. It's better to have somebody else coach them, or you get coached, because it's just, everybody's on their own journey. You may not be on the same journey at the same time. But you know what happens? We get all excited about something and we start, and then we go after our spouses, significant others, and say, come on, you need to do this, you need to do this, and we just started. You know, they may not be ready yet, but so find somebody that can help you in that area, hold you accountable, and then coach you through the process. Because as you can see, there's some things that you really need to do to stay on course. So everybody that came tonight, I'm going to email you a workbook that I put together after 40 years of taking the best of the best, and a lot of this stuff that's up here is going to have it in there, so it's something you can walk through. If you do the exercises in there, it's going to help you get really clear on these things, okay? So that'll be a good little gift tool that you can use. So some more things. There's a lot of talk about calories don't matter. They do matter. Food consumption does matter. So an easy way to look at it is, what are the calories? Some people say don't count calories, some say do. My attitude now is everything works. Don't get caught up in one person's this is the way it should be, because it may not be that way for you. Because you got to figure out where your calories are coming from. You know, so there are some people that say calories are calories. If you're on a 2,000 calorie diet, you can eat 2,000 calories of good food and 2,000 calories of ice cream, and it's not going to matter. I don't know about that. You can get a lot more food in your body having 2,000 calories of healthy food versus a bowl of ice cream. So, I don't know. If it works for you, great. And then here, you've got to decide too, this is where it gets tricky, is where are your calories coming from? Some people need different balance of micro macro nutrients. Not everybody's going to be the same. You know, so where's your, you know, where are your calories coming? Most people are protein deficient. They're not getting enough protein. If you're not getting enough protein, I can tell you right now, you're always going to struggle with weight loss. It's going to be tough. Because your body, your muscle needs protein to build the muscle, keep you strong. If your protein's low, a lot of the other things aren't working right. So, we need to look at that. Where are your calories coming from? Veggies are carbs. Complex carbs are like oatmeal, rice, bread, stuff like that. Of course, we all know about organic GMO and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into all that. But, these are pretty much all the categories of where we live in food. Processed food, fast food. Here's a big one. I have clients, they go, Chris, I'm so excited. I just found this online eating plan that they cook meals for you and they deliver them to your front door. Great. And then I just put them in the microwave. But you just killed everything. You just paid all that money for an expensive, healthy meal and you stuck it in a microwave and it kills it all. So if you have a microwave, get rid of it, put a convection oven in. If it's built into the wall, just use it as storage. And then this is a big one.
Could you explain more about the microwave? Why, what?
Yeah, I can send you a link, but that's a whole workshop on its own. Microwave puts out some of the biggest amount of radiation. So anything that's in the microwave is dead. Dead. It's going to kill it. Kills everything. Any nutrients, dead. That's not me saying that. There was a German study they did for 40 years, I think, that came out conclusively. High incidence of stomach cancer, too, for those that use microwave a lot more. I mean, the list goes on. I can go forever, but microwaves are no good. Just not even to warm up your water. Because people say, well, I just warm my coffee up in there. Well, you just killed all that great coffee that you wanted to have. Plate size, to me, this is one of the biggest things that nobody ever talks about. In the 60s, our dinner plates were only 8.5 inches.
Yeah.
Right? I can't even find the size of the dinner plate beyond 2009 now. So, but look at what has happened over the years in calories. Because guess what we do? When we have a plate, some of us grew up, and I grew up in a family that I was not allowed to go to bed if I did not clean my plate. And we grow up and become adults, and we have that same belief system. So what do? You get a 12-inch plate, you fill it up, you eat it all. Look at the amount of calories that are on a 12-inch plate, 1,900 calories. For some people, that's a day's worth of calories in one meal. Not to mention, your body can't even digest all that. You ate it, it didn't mean you digested it. Most of it is going to turn to fat, even good food. Your body can only assimilate about 700 calories in any given meal, on the safe side. Anything more than that, it just doesn't know how to deal with it. So the plate size, nobody talks about, but it's significant. Now, when I was growing up, my grandmother on my Italian side, man, if I didn't eat 3 plates of food, she cried. But we were only in our 20s there, and it was fun to go visit Nana in those days because we wanted to eat. But, you know, you can't do that anymore. Get rid of those big plates. So here's some things I could tell you right now. If you go to this, will make a significant difference. Find a salad plate that's typically 6 to 8 inches, and eat your protein and veggies on that plate. Get the small plate, this or smaller, for your protein, your veggies, and healthy starches. But if you're going to do starches, that's like potatoes and stuff, do that once a day. Keep those a little lighter because they're a lot more in carbohydrates than veggies, which is butternut squash, pumpkin. Popcorn's not good. Sweet potatoes, yams. Has anyone heard of miracle noodles?
Yeah.
Really, really good. Some people don't like them. They say they're horrible. But in my workbook, there's a website link that you can go to the website, and they give you some great recipes. They're based on a mushroom. It's like a vegetable type, and you can really make them taste good. You could get some good tomato sauce, some grass-fed meatballs, and you get your pasta fix. Julie hates them. I can eat them. Have you had them before, See? Do you like them, or? No, it's all right. They're kind of slimy. It tastes like that. You got to rinse them. Yeah, I'm just being candid and transparent.
You know what? It's a texture thing more than
It is a texture. But you know what's good about it? If you want to have this kind of pasta fix and fill yourself up with 0 calories, it's a good. You got to
spaghetti squash.
Spaghetti squash. There you go. That's just as good. So that's just an option for some people. Then use your large plates if you have them, because you don't want to go out and start buying all new plates now. You guys are going to really get mad at me. But that's where you should have your salad on. Take the biggest plate you have and fill that thing up with salad. If you want to fill up your stomach, fill it up with salad. It's roughage. It's almost a negative caloric intake. But here's the thing. Don't put 25,000 calories of Roquefort blue cheese, Thousand Island dressing on it. Oil and vinegar. Okay, remember, healthy fats, olive oil's good. You know, apple cider vinegar, you know, all the different vinegars are fine. Season it a little bit, that's your safest there. Here's the other thing. It just happens. Avoid appetizers. Now, if you're having a family function, don't go out and say, Coach Chris says we can't have appetizers anymore. Everybody's going to be mad at me. Look, this is about lifestyle, time, the rest of your life, right? Do I like to have appetizers before a meal? Yes, we did on Easter, you know.
Which you have.
But don't. They were healthy. Sophie cooked for us. But the thing of it is most of us have already had our total caloric intake from appetizers before we even have our dinner. So if weighing less is your goal, these are just the little things. You'd be surprised how much it adds up over time. It's significant because usually appetizers are pretty darn good, but they're usually a lot more rich and sauces and all kinds of stuff.
It's really nice just to have the appetizer and then just don't eat. Then
That's
you
a
get
good
your
thing, too. There you
appetizer
go.
If you're really hungry for
Yeah.
it, you know, and you just don't eat it. Okay.
And then
Simple.
sugary desserts at dinner time. Worst thing you can do to yourself. You want to talk about spiking your blood sugar right before you go to bed? It's tough.
What
If you
about
really
the
have to have that
sugar?
sugary thing, have it in the morning. Go get a cup of coffee and have your cinnamon roll if you have to have it. I'm just saying, make better choices, just don't do it every day. Or don't do it at all. And then minimize alcohol consumption. You'd be surprised how so many people do follow a really strict diet, but they drink a little more than they should, and it just throws their body into a tailspin. Every form of alcohol is going to drive your blood sugar. The problem with beer is it's got all this other stuff in there that's not good for you. So, again, I like to have a glass of wine every now and then. I'm not saying be legalistic about it, but whatever your goal is, just remember there's certain things that spike your blood sugar that can turn to sugar immediately. Alcohol turns to sugar faster than anything. And a lot of people say, I drink before I go to bed because it helps me sleep. It actually doesn't. That's another, somebody sold that. The wine companies are selling that. I've tested it a lot of times. Trust me, it doesn't work. And here's a
So
big,
you're saying beer is worse than wine?
beer is worse than wine. It's the carbs, a lot of genetically modified ingredients in there. It's really not a lot of yeast and yeah. So if you really, really want to have a drink, I would find something other than beer. So here's another big one. Boy, that looks good. I'm getting hungry. Talking about food. Relationship. What is your relationship with food? Remember we talked about the emotional connection. Most people live to eat. You got to get there. You got to eat to live. For a good percentage of the population, what they eat, they would never put in their car. Just saying. We love our cars more than we love ourselves. Think about it. If what the human consumed, if we were to put that in our car, we would blow the engine up. Right, Aaron? Got the mechanic back there. Too much sugar in the engine? Sorry, it's gone. But yet, we just keep putting it in our bodies, in our bodies, in our bodies. So this isn't about guilting or shaming. Today's a new day. This is new information maybe for some of you. Some different things to try to change because it's just those little incremental steps forward that are going to get you where you want to go long term. So you have to have a long-term vision of what you want to do and why you want to do it. And then only reward good behavior. If you just took this away from here tonight, it would be significant. Here's what happens. You have a bad week, a challenging week. What do? You go out and celebrate your bad week by eating a bunch of junk food and drinking. No, there was a guy years ago, Tony Robbins, the first personal growth workshop I went to, he says, here's the American way. You have a bad week, you're mad, you're upset at your boss, it was a terrible week at work, you go to happy hour and you eat fried food and drink, and you reward bad behavior. So that anchors into your consciousness, it does, in your physiology, that it's okay to have a bad week. And you don't even have any idea that that's what's happening.
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah. So here's the thing to do. Have fun with it. Set yourself up for success. So you say, okay, this week, this is how we're gonna eat. Maybe I want to lose 1 pound this week. Or at least I'm gonna stick to my eating program that I set myself. If you do that, then go out for a nice dinner and reward yourself for the success that you had. But if you set a goal for the week and you didn't even come anywhere close to it, don't reward yourself. Don't do it. You don't deserve it. Reward Kathy. You give it to Kathy.
That's right.
No, really, it's big, you guys. I'm telling you, you'd be surprised. It's behavior. It is significant. And what happens is you start to have fun with it because you look forward to it. I had a client I worked with years ago. He needed to lose 30 pounds. He lost 30 pounds, then he vanished. I didn't see him for 2 years. He called me, goes, Chris, I gained weight back. I didn't listen to a darn thing you said. I said, okay, well, if you're gonna work, we're gonna work together again. You're gonna pay up front for a year, and here's what we're gonna do.
Uh-oh.
And to his credit, he finally, it was a time for him. But he lost 40 pounds, he still has it off this day, and this is the one thing he did. He made it fun for him and his wife. He said, if we stay on this goal every week, we're gonna go out either Friday night or Saturday night, we're gonna go to a nice dinner, we're not gonna care what we eat. We're gonna splurge. And guess what they start doing? Buying really expensive meals, splitting them. He likes wine, had a glass of wine, didn't worry about it. No guilt, no shame, nothing. Back on eating the regular food the next day. Why? Because he rewarded good behavior, and it works. It works 100% of the time.
What category is avocado? What kind of carbo is that?
That's fat. That's a healthy fat. Yeah.
So it's good.
It's good. All avocados are good. So let's talk about rebooting your metabolism, because a lot of us probably want to reboot our metabolism, right? I'm always trying to reboot the metabolism. Fasting. Overused word too. Overdone, and a lot of times not the right way. How many have heard of fasting? There's a lot of, beliefs around fasting, religious beliefs, diet, healthy beliefs, and a lot of stuff. Fasting is good. It works. There's so many benefits to it. But let's simplify it. I hear so many people saying, I'm going to go on this long-term fast. Let's just see if you can fast for a day first. Successfully. Because what happens is they set the goal for the fast, and all they're thinking about is that next day. So if it's a 10-day fast, you can't wait till the 11th day. They already got all the food lined up, what they're going to eat. So this is what fasting is. It's burning off those meals that we've stored. It's funny, but it's true. Fasting is so good for your body. Really, really good for the body.
I'm gonna make a
So-
exercise of that in my kitchen.
Start with this. Maybe some of you have. But start with a 72-hour water fast. Don't go more than 72 hours. Some people goof their body up more by going longer and not knowing what they're doing. They deplete themselves too much. They start eating. They get sick. They don't know what they're doing. That's why you've got to be careful. But just start with a 72-hour fast first of just drinking water. Not beer. Okay? And it is proven to show health risks if you're going to go more than 72 hours, you better be working with a medical professional that knows what they're doing to help you come off the fast and introduce certain foods slow. It's really, really important. I really encourage you as an ongoing maintenance program, do this every 3 to 4 months. 72-hour fast. And I'm going to show you some of the things why fasting is so important other than just for weight loss. Intermittent fasting. How many people have heard or are doing intermittent fasting? Wow, look at this. So what that is this is a fasting clock. So the idea of intermittent fasting is you pick a window that you eat in. So this would be from 12 noon to 8 at night. And you're going to eat all your food in this period of time. Maybe you eat lunch and you eat dinner here or here. Then you fast for 16 hours. This is one of the best things you can do forever. I came from the old school bodybuilding world, and I preached for years, eat 6 times a day. It's what's good for your metabolism. That's what I was taught. It's what we did. It's the worst thing for you. Your body never has a chance to rest. We were never designed to eat more than twice a day. Years ago, breakfast was usually lunch and dinner. It didn't have, there was no such thing as eating 3 to 5, 6 times a day until the food company started promoting all this stuff to us. But I'm telling you, if you can get to this place, it's significant. And maybe you need to start out slow. Maybe it's not 16 hours. Maybe it's 8 hours, then 12 hours, and 16 hours. And you can do it in all kinds of crazy ways, and you can eat however you want. Maybe you want to have breakfast and dinner. Maybe you just want to have lunch and dinner. That's what we do. We've been doing that for a long time now, and it's great because the whole family's on the same program. We don't eat breakfast. We eat lunch and we eat dinner. Makes it a lot easier when Sophie's cooking because then we're all on the same schedule. So integrate this as part of your lifestyle program. If you can get to a place of intermittent fasting, I'm telling you, you will see success like you've never seen before. And it's not just for weighing less, it's just for how you're going to feel. And guess what? Your food budget goes down too. You get rid of one meal a day and you got a big family, that's a lot of money.
Is it you doing my fasting?
Intermittent fasting promotes autophagy. Has anyone heard of autophagy? You're going to start hearing a lot more about that now because the fasting is, Christy, you've heard about it. I know you've experienced it. That is one of the greatest things that happens out of intermittent fasting. And this is what it is. It's actually a self-cleansing process that breaks down and recycles all the damaged molecules, proteins, and cells in our body. It literally is like a garbage disposal, going in there, cleaning up all the stuff that's died off and getting rid of it. That's why a lot of people that have very tough autoimmune, especially like cancer or heart disease or diabetes, intermittent fasting is amazing for recovery and healing. Significant. It regulates the functions of the cells, the mitochondria. You know, we all want to make sure our mitochondria is working. You know, it is so important. That's where we get our energy, and so that helps clean that up and activates the mitochondria. It protects the nervous system, supporting growth of the heart cells and protecting against heart disease, enhances the immune system, protects the stability of our DNA, prevents damage of healthy tissues, known as necrosis. Some of you have probably heard of that, and potentially fighting cancer, neurodegenerative disease, and other illnesses. So really, really important. Intermittent fasting promotes autophagy, and if you want to learn more about that, it is just amazing what they're learning just from doing intermittent fasting. It puts you in that state. Very, very powerful. Okay, this concludes our presentation tonight. I want to thank everybody again for coming out and taking time out of your busy schedules to listen to this very, very hot topic that we discussed tonight about keto versus paleo. But more importantly, we really broke down for you tonight the benefits of how to find the right eating plan for you for the rest of your life. So we want to get away from diets and we want to find what the right eating plan is for you. And to help facilitate that, I'm offering everybody a complimentary 25-minute coaching session with myself. All you need to do is call my office at Regenesis 360 at 805-202-2077. And during that session, we're going to cover your lifestyle goals. And remember, in the beginning of the presentation, I talked about additional solutions to getting in and sustaining ketosis. So during that time together, in the 25-minute coaching session, I'm going to go into more detail about MCT oil and drinking ketones as additional solutions to getting you in and sustaining ketosis. And you'll also receive my 35-page workbook, which will encapsulate all the information I shared with you tonight in a very systematic way so that you can follow step by step in everything that I covered in tonight's slides. So thanks again, and we'll see you at our next workshop.